Discipline is peace. I would like to talk about this today, that discipline actually is peace. Huh. You know, the older you get, the more you understand that actually discipline brings you so much peace. Because when you are very young, I'm approaching 40, but when I was younger, I would say, not as disciplined as now, because I think now I just notice the passage of time with more sort of concern, with more pain, I would even say. It pains me really when I see that I'm getting older, and I want to have more results, but I just don't get there. I have some results in any activity that I do, but not as good as I want to. And then I start sort of counting time, how many months have passed, days, weeks, and I start, that just makes me upset quite often actually, because we all are getting old, and we don't achieve a lot of stuff that we have been planning. And then this idea comes, that will happen, especially, well, like if you are younger, you are sort of more sort of clueless, kind of, you want to have more fun and all of that, and discipline suffers. All of that comes at the cost of discipline, really, right? And sometimes especially when you're younger, you think that, oh, you know what, I will have fun now, but later on, because I'm talented, you don't even know if you are talented, right? But there's this idea that, well, you know what, everyone has some talents. Some talents will open up in me eventually when I get to like 25, maybe like 28, and then it will all be like really quick. I will like achieve what I want like really fast. I can chill now. I can have fun, running around, chasing girls and all that. Then, when I'm a bit older, then I will get to work. I wouldn't say that that's precisely how I thought, because I always was somewhat disciplined, but not to the point of near perfection, because nothing is perfect in the world, in our lives, so, but you can be near perfect if you actually put all of the effort, right? And I realize now, I'm turning 39 next month, and I realize now that I could have done it all better. I've put out some effort, but with time, after the age of 30, my efforts increased. But if I put even more effort before 30, then I would be in a much better position now. Unfortunately, I realize this only now. And the fact that even though I realize that, and it kind of calms me down a little bit, at the same time, it takes away some peace from me, because I could have done better. Actually, I could have done better. And if only I was more disciplined, despite the fact that I wouldn't say that I was not disciplined, because I have 2 bachelor degrees, I have a master's degree, I run like a small business, and I'm also working on another business, and also on this channel, another shop I got. But I could have been better because there's potential, and I didn't, because I was chasing girls. I was also doing lots of stupid stuff. I was, lots of fun, lots of cinema. And well, maybe actually I'm being like kind of somewhat serious about cinema. I'm still am. I write screenplays, actually. I live in Kazakhstan. My screenplays are in Russian. I don't know. Screenwriting is kind of it's not a really lucrative sort of endeavor nowadays, because screenwriters get paid crappy money, really, because they are not really valued anywhere in the world, even in Hollywood. It's really hard to get in, and it's all woke stuff, right? So I just put it down, and I actually focused on the other stuff, my shop and like actual business and all this. And just even though I did something productive, I could still do so much more. And just even now, when I'm counting the time, how much time I spent on so much bollocks, on also chasing girls, like, you know, it's not even just the chasing per se. It's not that you just, go and interact with, it's how much you think about them. If you actually count the time, how much you think about women, it could be like 70-80% to the, in the ratio 70-80% to 20% to when you actually interact with them, because you think about, sex and all of that more than you actually even when you do that, right? So it takes away a lot of times than the cinema, all of the fun stuff. I don't play video games. I don't know. I'm just not into it. I tried actually, and to my luck, I just have zero interest. I don't know. I actually tried to force myself. I purchased some video game. I don't even remember the name of it, but I was so bored from the first like 2 minutes. I just put it away, put it aside. Just because, I mean, the cinema, I love cinema, but this video games, it's just not my stuff, But then only now when I will be 40 next year June, right? So now I realize that most of my life actually have passed, and I could have done it better if I was way more focused. So that takes away so much peace. And also I see some guys, not all, it's a tiny minority actually that are truly successful. I remember how more disciplined these guys were. And then I look at them and they have like more peace because they were so disciplined. Even, I would even say most of them, they were not sort of as gifted as me, because I would spend less time on studies. And I have a finance degree, my first degree, which I graduated from with honors. And the second degree, the second bachelor is in law. Then I also have a master's in law too from the UK. But that's not the point, That's generally, I remember how they were more disciplined, but they didn't actually they had a worse understanding of the subject matter than I did. And because of that, I think because I could grasp faster, I could study faster, that sort of gave me a lot of leverage, and I could kind of chill somewhat more than they did. But they are in a lot of them, well, not all, of course, but a lot of them are actually in a much better position now than me, because even if they did not understand stuff, they did not understand, some concept like financial concepts, maybe, some legal concepts. They were kind of dumber, actually, a lot of them, but they still are more successful in whatever they are doing. Not all of them are working in the field that they were studying for, but anyway, they are more successful, even if they were less bright, right? Just because they were more disciplined, they just put more hours into it. And sometimes I look at it and I thought, what if, I was smarter, right? And if I put even more effort than they did, I would be in a much better position than they are now. But now it's the vice versa. So discipline is so freaking important, and you only get to realize it later in your life, unfortunately. Not all men, but probably most men, because in the younger years, you are reckless and you just too many hormones, you want to chill, you want to have fun, that happens to a lot of guys, and you are optimistic about the future. Oh, it's going to be like that all the time. No, it's not going to be Ibiza all the time. You will have to work even more. If you don't work in your 20s, you're going to have to rip your freaking ass off in your 30s. And if you didn't do that in your 30s, you're going to have to do it in your 40s. But if you didn't do that in your 40s, in your 50s, probably it's too late. That's just the reality, because your energy level declines with every new decade. So have to be as quick as possible. You just have to, this realization, you will be lucky if this realization lands on your head as quickly, as early as possible, when you are much younger. Unfortunately, this doesn't happen with everyone, but if you are watching this video and you are younger, especially if you are younger, I hope this video helped you out and cleared some things out for you, because there will be a lot of regret. And most men, we don't talk about it when we are in our 30s, in our late 30s. We don't talk about it really, because you don't really want to admit to that, right? Because you will always, like, your brain tries to trick you into thinking that, well, I'm not that bad. Yes, I could have been better, but I'm not in that bad of a position. Even I sometimes try to sort of find the reason, sort of rationalize why I'm not in a better position. I just tell myself, but you are artsy, you are a creative type, even though you were studying math and law, but you are the creative stuff. You are a creative guy. You draw, you write. Like, that's how you try to convince yourself. And although there is some little part like of truth to that, yeah, like artsy people, sort of creative, they are not as disciplined generally, because creating stuff, being the creator, it kind of conflicts with being like overly disciplined. There still needs to be discipline even in the creative fields. That's the reality too, because, like, for example, if you create videos, you have a YouTube channel, it takes not only quality of a particular video, but also quantity. And quantity means, especially quantity, means way more discipline, because you have to be like constantly every day, new video every single day, or maybe like once a week. But then it needs to be like a really elaborate, like long video, long form. That's going to be a lot of work. Whatever you do, if you are shooting, you are a filmmaker, you are a musician, there's gonna be discipline too, because otherwise you won't accomplish nothing. And discipline, when I look at the guys who have achieved a lot because they were disciplined, they have that peace in their face, like, they don't have that sort of anger, I would say. They don't have that anxiety. Like, for example, I do sometimes. Well, I actually have that quite often. Maybe less with the years, but still I do. But these guys, when I met two of my former acquaintances, and they're quite successful, and I look at them and they look like they are, they have that calm and blessed look, which they did not have 15 years ago. But they do now, because, and then that's kind of struck me that, discipline is actually peace. It's not just the means to achieving things. This is the means to also achieving inner peace. Because if you know that you have accomplished stuff, now you can chill down a little bit. But if you don't work, you postpone, you procrastinate, then later on, you're going to be pissed, especially if you're a man. Even if you're a female, you are going to be pissed too. I'm pretty sure, but especially if you're a male, because that's what's required of man, particularly. So, yeah. Yep. Well, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. And guys, if you want to support this channel, I'll be making even more videos in the future on all the different topics, covering men's issues, like politics as well, and just generally Manosphere, sort of Manosphere. So I don't like the word, but I think it's pretty sort of descriptive of the whole freaking topic, right? It's just been bashed on hardly for the past few years, I think. Anyway, guys, support this channel, subscribe, put a like. Also visit my shop. It's a V-neck t-shirt. It's exactly the topic of this video, actually. And there's many more t-shirts and mugs, and we will be putting probably even more accessories, guys. This is actually, I would say this is like the first actual Manosphere shop, and I work hard on all of the designs. So support this channel. We are not monetized, and by purchasing from our shop, you will be supporting our channel. Yeah, and good luck, guys, and I see you in the next video.